Welcome to Pieces Here. I'm Avis Kalfsbeek, and we're taking a little rest between podcast series to help Kitty O'Compost improve her reporter voice for peace. Kitty is a character I made up who's a little offbeat, a satiric smarty pants, and she's getting ready to report on a big story about peace, AI, and the future of the commons. It's called Control AI Disarm. At the end, you'll also hear the Next Peacelands, a roll call of global armed conflicts and arms exports. If that's too much today, it's okay to end early. But if you can stay, I hope you'll let it deepen your resolve for peace. As usual, you can find the words and books I make for peace at aviskalfsbeek.com. Now over to Kitty. Now today's reading is from one Francois Marie Arouillet. Though most folks know him by his sharper, shorter name, Voltaire. He was a quick-witted Frenchman from the 1700s who believed in reason, clarity, and poking holes in any nonsense that tried to pass as truth. He wrote plays, poems, histories, and more letters than any one person should ever have time for, and he had a real talent for getting himself banned, exiled, or scolded for saying exactly what he thought. We're reading a bit from the opening of Zadig, or Fate, a story that mixes philosophy with adventure and asks why life hands us the troubles it does. Well, sugar, truth be told, I could read you a poem or a parking citation, and it'd still count as a pause for peace. 'Cause the magic's not just in the words, it's in the listening. The fact that we're here, quiet together, and no one, for goodness sake, is holding a gosh darn gun. The following is an excerpt from Zadig, or Fate, by Voltaire. The dedication to the Sultana Shirah by Saadi, the 18th of the month Shawwal, in the year of Hejira, 837. Thou joy of every eye, thou torment of every heart, thou intellectual light, I do not kiss the dust of thy feet, because thou seldom art seen out of the seraglio, and when thou art, thou walkest only on the carpets of Iran or on beds of roses. I here present you with the translation of the work of an ancient sage, who, having the happiness of living free from all avocations, thought proper by way of amusement to write the history of Zadig, a performance that comprehends in it more instruction than, that's tale, 'tis possible you may at first be aware of. I beg you would indulge me so far as to read it over, and then pass your impartial judgment upon it. For notwithstanding you are in the bloom of your life, though every pleasure courts you, though you are nature's darling and have internal qualities in proportion to your beauty, though the world resounds your praises from morning till night, and consequently you must have a just title to superior degree of understanding than the rest of your sex, yet your wit is no ways flashy, your taste is refined, and I have had the honor to hear you talk more learnedly than the wisest dervish with his venerable beard and pointed bonnet. You are discreet and yet not mistrustful. You are easy but not weak. You are beneficent with discretion. You love your friends and create yourself no enemies. Your most sprightly flights borrow no graces from detraction. You never speak a misbecoming word, nor do an ill-natured action, though 'tis always in your power. In a word, your soul is as spotless as your person. You have, moreover, a little fund of philosophy, which gives me just grounds to hope that you'll relish this historical performance better than any other lady of your quality would do. It was originally composed in the Chaldean language, to which both you and myself are perfect strangers. It was translated, however, into Arabic for the amusement of the celebrated Sultan Ulugh Beg. It first appeared in public when the Arabian and Persian tales of 1001 Nights and 1001 Days were most in vogue. Ulugh chose rather to entertain himself with the adventures of Zadig. The sultanas indeed were more fond of the former. How can you, said the judicious Ulugh, be so partial as to prefer a set of tales that are no ways interesting or instructive to a work that has a variety of beauties to recommend it? Oh, replied the sultanas, the less sense there is in them, the more they are in taste, and the less their merit, the greater their commendation. I flatter myself, thou patroness of wisdom, that thou wilt not copy after those thoughtless sultanas, but give into the sentiments of Ulugh. I am in hopes, likewise, when you are tired with the conversation such as make those senseless romances above mentioned their favorite amusements, you will vouchsafe to listen for 1 minute or two to the dictates of solid sense. Had you been Thalestris in the days of Scander, the son of Philip, had you been the Queen of Sheba in the reign of Solomon, those kings would have been proud to have taken a tour to visit you. May the celestial virtues grant that your pleasures may meet with no interruption, your charms know no decay, and may your felicity be everlasting. Sadi. Thank you for letting me practice Kitty's reporting voice for the big story ahead. Control AI disarm. Now stay with me a few minutes longer if you're able for the Next Peacelands. Podcasts usually have ads you fast forward through. This one doesn't. Instead, I invite you to pause here just for a few minutes and listen with an open heart, not to memorize the numbers, not to analyze the politics. As I read each conflict, I'll say aloud, peace is here. You're welcome to say it with me or just think it quietly. If you'd like to read, sing, or paint your own version of the Next Peacelands, or tell me how to say peace is here in your language, I'd love to hear it. This is the Next Peacelands. Not for doom and gloom, not for pity or sadness, we speak and we listen to these geographic locations of wars and the numbers of deaths of human souls to help put the great disarmament, the period in which we live now, and peace at the forefront of our daily consciousness and actions. Following are the major and minor armed conflicts, over 1,000 deaths in 1 year as of November 2025. Myanmar conflict since 1948, 199,000 total fatalities, 13,000 deaths year to date. Peace is here. Arab-Israeli conflict since 1948, 263,000 total fatalities, 25,000 deaths year to date. Peace is here. Congolese conflicts since 1996, 211,000 cumulative fatalities, 10,000 deaths year to date 2025. Peace is here. Islamist insurgencies in Maghreb Sahel since 2002, 464,000 total fatalities, 18,000 deaths year to date. Peace is here. Mexican drug war since 2006, 417,000 total fatalities, 11,000 deaths year to date. Peace is here. Sudanese conflicts since 2008, 1,400,000 cumulative fatalities, 20,000 deaths year to date. Peace is here. Russo-Ukrainian war since 2014, 400,000 cumulative fatalities, 66,000 deaths year to date. Peace is here. Ethiopian civil conflict since 2018, 610,000 cumulative fatalities, 5,000 deaths year to date. Peace is here. Colombian-Venezuelan conflicts since 1964, 458,000 cumulative fatalities, 2,000 deaths year to date. Peace is here. Afghan conflict since 1978, 2,800,000 cumulative fatalities, 3,000 deaths 2025 year to date. Peace is here. Somali civil war, current phase, since 1991, 1 million cumulative fatalities, 10,000 deaths 2025 year to date. Peace is here. Civil conflicts in Nigeria since 1998, 104,000 cumulative fatalities, 3,000 deaths year to date. Peace is here. Yemeni civil war crisis since 2011, 382,000 cumulative fatalities, 3,000 deaths year to date. Peace is here. Syrian conflict spillovers since 2011, 656,000 cumulative fatalities, 9,000 deaths year to date. Peace is here. Cameroonian conflicts since 2012, 9,000 cumulative fatalities, 900 deaths year to date. Peace is here. Ecuadorian drug war since 2018, 9,000 cumulative fatalities, 4,000 deaths year to date. Peace is here. Haitian crisis since 2018, 20,000 cumulative fatalities, 3,000 deaths year to date. Peace is here. Does that mean the countries that weren't mentioned are more peaceful? Some are, some are not. Here are the world's largest weapons exporters according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute's Arms Transfers Database. These numbers use TIV, a value that reflects how much destructive military weaponry a country sends abroad, regardless of the payment or cost. The United States exports $729 billion in weapons volume, 43% of total global exports. Peace is here. France exports $136 billion in weapons volume, 10% of global exports. Peace is here. Russia exports $155 billion in weapons volume, 8% of global exports. Peace is here. China exports $61 billion in weapons volume, 6% of global exports. Peace is here. Germany exports $90 billion in weapons volume, 6% of global exports. Peace is here. Italy exports $37 billion in weapons volume, 5% of global exports. Peace is here. The United Kingdom exports $144 billion in weapons volume, 4% of global exports. Peace is here.